Who is Meghan Markle? Hello, Gary Edward Gedall, psychologist, psychotherapist, family therapist, looking at who is Meghan Markle. So here we are with the first part of episode 2, Who Are Her Parents? And we come to an in-depth view of Thomas Markle Sr. Thomas Markle was born on January the 18th, 1944 in Newport, Pennsylvania. He had a brother, Michael, who was born in 1939, which makes him 5 years older than him, but who died in 1921, and Frederick, who was born in 1942, making him 2 years older than him. He was first married in 1964. He was quite young. He was only 20 years old, and they had 2 children. Samantha, born in 1964, and Thomas Jr., who was born in 1966. They got divorced. He got divorced from his first wife in 1975 because presumably he was having extramarital affairs, although there's no proof on that. So that's a rumour, and we will leave it at that. And then in 1979, he married Doria, only 4 years later. Maybe he was looking for another mother for his child, I don't know. What I do know is that people do not get together by chance. So let's take a short time out and reflect on why people are attracted to each other to become couples. Here are my 3 dimensions that explain why people are drawn to one another. 1. They are repeating on some levels the same relationship as their parents. Now this can be very complex, much too complex to be discussed here. Put that in the book. 2. They have experienced similar emotional experiences in their childhood. One should note that the external realities of their youth might be very different. It is their personal experiences that are similar. We'll see later on, so maybe we can understand Meghan and Harry's story better based on this dimension. 3. They have the same level of functioning or dysfunctioning on certain important dimensions. For instance, someone very anxious might find as a partner someone equally anxious or equally laid back. What they won't be attracted to would be someone that is neither anxious nor laid back. This last point we'll come back to in just a second. So let's take a moment to reflect on what it was that drew these 2 people together. He was 35, already successful in his profession. She was only 23 and was working as a temporary assistant makeup artist. He had already proven he was a stable person. She was young and was only working temporarily as an assistant makeup artist, but she was likely already unsure she wanted to continue investing in it. I say that because after marrying Thomas, there is no information that she continued in that field. Also, as we shall see, her many changes of profession show someone who has great difficulty settling down. So, what we have is Thomas, steady, dependable, maybe a bit boring, and Doria, flighty, creative, and exciting. He was the solid anchor. She was the crazy kite. There we have several linked dimensions that possibly drew them together. So, Meghan was born in 1981, and they separated when Meghan was 2 years old, and they divorced in 1987. Doria was starting, or had started, her travel agency business, and I believe that being a wife and a mother felt too limiting for her. So, bye-bye. So that's basically it. Or it would have been if he hadn't won the California State Lottery in 1990. He won $750,000, which I looked up. It's worth about $2 million in today's money. Unfortunately, it didn't last long because he filed for bankruptcy. He actually filed for bankruptcy 3 times. The first twice in 1991 and 1993. I think the two were somehow linked. I don't think they were officially separate, but I don't think they were totally separate either. It's difficult to get very clear information. However, it seems he provided financial help for all his children at different times, although Meghan appears to receive the most sustained support, particularly for her education. And the third time in 2016. So it really seems he wasn't very good at managing his finances. Maybe he was just too generous. So let's have a look at the professional life of Thomas. He'd been working in television lighting since the 1970s. In 1975, he received a Chicago Midwest Emmy Award for Outstanding Achievement for Individual Excellence for Non-Performance. Sounds great, doesn't it? He was one of the named co-recipients of the Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Achievements in Design. And from there on, he just advanced and advanced. Obviously, he worked hard and he'd been very successful. He got 2 big-time Emmy Awards in 1982 and 2011 for General Hospital. He also worked on Married with Kids for quite some time. A hard-working, successful person, you would think. He retired in about 2011 after working as a lighting director for WTTW-TV. So, Thomas Markle as a lighting director was really quite successful. Seemed like a serious person, was very involved in what he did and successful with it. And this is for me very important because it shows something. And later I will talk about Meghan's first husband, her first husband Trevor. There are similarities there. He does seem to be someone that's basically a hard-working guy, quiet, quite solid and stable. Very, very successful in his professional life. So, as to the story around Meghan's second marriage, the photos, the letters, we'll look at all that later. I promise you. But that's the end. That's the fun bit at the end. You'll have to go all the way to the end to get that. We'll see. So that's him. Next week, we'll be looking at Doria, her childhood and her professional life. As an important role model for Meghan, it's really important that we know a little of who she is. So that's for next week. So please like, share, ring the bell, write a comment, whatever. See you then. Take care. Gary.